Oh my God, I'm so excited to be here. You look amazing. You're like all holiday red and beautiful.
Thank
Hi.
you.
I
You're so sweet.
I
Thank
feel
you
like I
so
should
much.
have
I know.
put on a
I'm
sweater.
trying to be festive.
You're super festive.
Well,
Oh,
thank
and the
you.
red behind you. I mean, okay. Well, I'll do better next time.
No, come on. You always kill it. This is quarantine. I had to, get a reason to get all dressed up. So this is my thing. Welcome,
Oh,
welcome. I mean,
thank you.
what?
Hold on, I'm just getting my sorry.
No
Coffee time.
worries. All good. There you got your coffee. I've got my water. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Re-
By the way, I just downloaded a new app to help me drink more water.
Oh,
Because
what is that?
what is it called? It's I don't know what it's called. It's called Water Minder. Because
Smart.
I think I'm not drinking enough water. So,
Me
and we
neither.
need water. So, yeah.
Listen, that's what we are made of. So I completely agree with you. Definitely a good thing to have. I mean, you have been such a bright, positive light for so many people throughout this really dark time. You really have. I'm curious what you've been doing to really stay positive, entertain. These are not easy times. What is the secret?
Oh my God. Well, caffeine for one of them, right? Caffeine
Yes.
for one of them. Um, faith, honestly. Um, my marriage, my awesome wife, who I'm gonna do this. She doesn't want me to.
Oh,
Hi.
I hate when he does that, but I'm so happy to see you.
I'm excited to see you. I'm watching your really cool house tour that I saw online, and I was like, this woman is awesome. She kills it.
Oh,
She's everything I've ever dreamed of. That's for darn sure.
Your
But
proposal
it's
never gets old.
but what's funny is we watched it with our kids not too long ago, and they were like, "What is happening?" But to answer your question, I don't know. I am in a constant search to remotivate myself and to tap into the things that fuel me and make me happy and learn more about myself and learn more about my triggers and my traumas. And I'm just on a kind of a never ending quest to just understand myself more and have more compassion for myself. Um, Also, service. I think service is really important to me. Reminding myself how small I am in the universe, and that it like as cool as all of this is, as great as it is to have followers and fans and platforms and work. At the end of the day, we're all like tiny, tiny, tiny little specks of dust in this grand scheme of things, um, and that's important. I think, especially in our industry, to have like true humility, and that doesn't come easy. You have to work for that. You don't just like snap your finger, and then suddenly you're humble. And then on God, I'll be faith for me is extremely important. It puts into perspective everything. So yeah.
I mean, your authenticity shines through, and that's something, that never goes out of style, right? That's something that viewers, fans, it's just something to really
I wish
appreciate.
it didn't though. I wish it's so funny. I'm just gonna be honest. When you say that, I go, God, shouldn't we all just be ourselves? Like
We should.
is the bar that low that my honesty separates myself from someone else? Like we should all just be who we are versus this projection that we think we're supposed to be. And I'm learning to say things in the moment, regardless of where we are, when it's
Right.
rooted in truth. Because that's this feeling that I have is like because I don't love pedestals. Take me off of. I'm trying to take myself off of all of the pedestals, all the goals, right? That some of the hashtag goals and things. Because my wife and I even talk about like marriage is freaking hard. We're not goals. Like hashtag work maybe because we're working at it, but like we should all be, we should all be who we are, you know.
It's very
Anyway,
important.
sorry for my tangent. How are
No,
you, by the way? How are you holding up? I'm gonna ask you a question. How are you holding up during all of this?
you know what? I'm healthy. I've been in one home for the last 9 months, and
Wow. Yeah.
way that I like it right now because it's in my control, and it's not like my personality to be in one place, but I'm doing all right. Thank you for asking. And
What's been the hardest part for you?
the hardest part for me has been watching some of my loved ones contract the virus. That's, I think, the most difficult part, and not being able to help. But you know what? It's life, right? You have to be strong for the ones you love, and that's something.
I hope they're all okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, these times are so nostalgic, and I feel like I'm bringing you back here. But I don't know about a lot of the fans who are watching right now, but I've been really spending a lot of my time binge watching TV. That's just something that I've been doing to kind of take my nerves and anxiety. I'm sure a lot of people can relate. With Jane the Virgin, I see people who are commenting here to take you back a little bit. How did being on that show change your perspective on life and just how your career shaped out? Because people really look up to you and the role that you portrayed on that show with Raphael.
Look, that was a massive, unexpected blessing. You know, I wasn't acting when the show was casting. I had taken like a 2-year hiatus from acting. I thought I probably would never act again, mostly because nobody wanted to hire me. I couldn't get a job to save my life, and I also never saw myself as an actor. I always felt like a filmmaker, and so I left to pursue my dream, which was to tell stories that made a difference in people's lives. And I started making a show called My Last Days with my friends at Soul Pancake, and made music videos and all these things. And then Jane the Virgin kind of fell into my lap. It was just an audition, and I hadn't auditioned at all in years. And I remember reading. This is fun for anyone who's a fan of the show. The first time I heard about it was because my wife, Emily, had auditioned for Petra.
Really?
And we were in bed. We had just gotten married. We'd been married for a couple months. And we were in bed, and she started reading the sides, and she asked me if I could help her with her audition. And it was a scene between Petra and Raphael. And I read the description. I kid you not. I read the description of Raphael, and I got insecure.
Interesting.
I got jealous. I'm like, if you get this, who is this guy going to be? Like, he sounds really dreamy. Like,
you're going to be spending a lot of time together, potentially.
And I was like, all right, well, I hope you get it. But I'm like kind of already finding myself insecure about whoever this Raphael character is going to be. And then almost 2 months go by, and my new directing manager asked me if I wanted to audition for it. And I guess they had a hard time finding this person, and they had been testing. And then I went in, and the next day I had a chemistry read with Gina, and it was just meant to be. It was just so meant to be.
That is the unexpected story. I would have never imagined that in a million years.
No, because I wasn't the actor. She was the actress. I was the broke documentary filmmaker at the time. And then you asked how it changed my life. It was one of the greatest blessings of my life to be on that show, to be surrounded by incredible people with integrity, to learn so much about what like true equality and diversity looks like in action. To be able to learn from these powerful, badass women that I was just surrounded by every single day. It was, and to be able to build a platform off of it that allowed me to, pursue my dreams as a filmmaker and build my company and all the things that come with it. It was a very intentional 5 years for me. If I was going to be given this chance, as a TV personality, I was going to use it to build something that I felt could make a difference in the world. And that's where we are now, is, 7 years after it started.
No, it's amazing. You've, done some incredible other projects, which we're going to get into. I'm curious if you could ever see the show, Jane the Virgin, coming back in some sort of, you are someone, when you have an idea, you execute. And that's something I love about you.
I'm not in control of that show. I was just an actor. I got a chance to direct an episode, but I was just there to be of service. I can tell you, with as much as we all love each other as a cast, I can't put it out of the realm of possibilities that, in a handful of years, we get a phone call from Jenny or the powers that be that ask us to do a reunion special or something. And of course I would say yes. I would be happy to. The show has given me so much. It'd be crazy to not go back and, put on that far too tight shirt again and and those too tight of pants and get to play such a beautiful character.
You're like, this is why I love wearing loose t-shirts now. Never again in a tight.
I'm just living in, like, you know, look at me. Although I look more, everyone always says I look more like Zen Raphael, and it was like season 3 or something when I grew a beard and had my hair long. That's more me, you know?
Oh my goodness. Do you still keep in touch with anyone in the cast?
Oh yeah, everybody. And in fact, if you're watching, send some prayers out. Jaime, who played Rogelio, he lost his father. He posted on Instagram. His father passed away, and so we were all just texting about Jaime a couple days ago. But yeah, so close. Gina and I are still like sister and brother, and Brett's always going to be my alien best friend. You know,
I love
Haley and I made 5 Feet Apart together, who's his fiance. So.
love it. Well, your next really exciting project, Clouds, has just been such a great movie that's gotten such great response and feedback, and you directed and produced it. For those who might not have seen it, what are you hoping that people take away from the film?
Oh, that's a great question. I hope it can help reset people that watch it. You know, we have so much fear coming at us from every angle. And like, you know, a healthy fear also, but we're, you know, we're living in, we have been living in these crazy times, and where, you know, we're being asked to kind of purge and let go of so much, and so many beliefs and so many systems that have become second nature to us. And also everywhere we look, there's people dying and people sick, and there's a fear around that, which is understandable. And I hope that Clouds can help kind of bring some perspective, because at the end of the day, it's a joyful, hopeful, romantic, life-affirming story about a kid who found out he had a short period of time to live, and how he chose to live his life. And at the end of the day, all of us have that choice that we can make right now, tonight, tomorrow, to then decide, I am going to live and be happy. I am going to find joy in my life. I am going, despite my obstacles and circumstances, I'm going to find the light, you know, as opposed to gravitating towards the darkness. And Zach did that so well. And so, yeah, and I also, you know, I hope it makes people feel, because I think we're all pretty numb too. And, you know, judging from what's happening on TikTok, and so many amazing reaction videos of people saying, oh, I'm not going to cry. And then they watch the movie and they film themselves just like losing it. It's been so sweet to see it kind of crack people's hearts open. And that's what I want to do as a filmmaker, is I just want to help people feel.
Oh, you're definitely doing that. I mean, these TikToks out there are going viral because of this film. I mean, what is your reaction when you see all this content being created as a result of this?
Well, honestly, it's a dream for me, because, you know, when 5 Feet Apart came out, I had a chance to go and sit in the theater quietly and watch people as they watch the movie, and see people crying. And, you know, one of my favorite moments is seeing people hugging each other that they didn't know, because everybody was so emotional at the end of the movie. And we can't do that anymore. We don't have that way to connect, or that theater viewing experience. And so for me, I've been living through TikTok and seeing these reactions, because what greater joy as a filmmaker can there be than seeing somebody post their reaction to my film? I'm grateful for the platform. I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful that people are really touched and moved by the movie and by Zach's story.
They certainly are. And I know you have your docu-series that's showing sort of a behind-the-scenes look into that. So for those but there's always some... every week, Disney Plus is putting up a special 10-minute docu-series, a making of the movie. So this week will be episode 2. It's called Beyond the Clouds, and you have to click on the extras when you go watch the movie. But it's so sweet. It's so sweet to see how it all started and how we made it. It's incredible. Speaking of something that is just starting for you in the next couple of months, you are penning a really exciting book called Man Enough that people are very excited about. It's one of 3 books that you have coming out, which is incredible. Tell us about what inspired the concept of the book, and what does it mean to be man enough to you?
Oh, man, that's a great question. Man Enough, the book's about undefining masculinity, specifically my masculinity. I write from my experience as a man and what it's like to be a person in with a tremendous amount of privilege, and also being unaware of that privilege for a long time. And you know, as a man, I didn't realize where a lot of the my actions came from, a lot of my belief systems and thoughts and the way that I moved in the world came from. I thought they were just a part of me as a man, and the more I thought about it, the more I realized that a lot of this stuff isn't me. It doesn't come from me. It comes from how I've been socialized. It's how the world's told me I need to be. It's how my dad told me I need to be. It's how his dad told him he needed to be. And it's who we think we're supposed to be. And my journey is really unpacking that to figure out, well, what does that actually mean for me? And, you know, at first I wanted to help redefine what it meant to be a man, but I realized I think I want to undefine it, because it is in the defining that we otherize each other. So I think we just need to unpack all of it and really ask questions. And that's what the book is about. It's about asking questions. And then the second book's going to be it's essentially a middle grade book about the same thing, because I believe that work needs to start young in boys. And then also there'll be a children's book. So it's like kind of it's an evolution of just, you know, and the children's book's going to also be for parents too. Just ways that we can get into our feelings and into our hearts, so that, you know, we don't have to be so disconnected between our heads and our hearts. Definitely.
What are some of those lessons, if you can give us sort of a little taste, a little teaser, that you want men to know?
Well, that's a great question. I want men to ask themselves why. That's where I'd start. Is I want us to be able to ask ourselves why we're doing something, why we're feeling a certain way, why we get insecure around women, why we feel like we need to, you know, to puff out our chests around other men. Like every day, there are so many little things that happen that are unconscious, because we've been taught to be a certain way. And I think the only way that we can unlearn is to ask ourselves why. So one of the lessons is this concept of the why ladder. You have to ask yourself why, then why, then why again. You know, as an example, I talked about this in my TED Talk. Why do I interrupt my wife? Why do I interrupt her after she tells me that I'm interrupting her? Why can't I just shut up and listen and be still and take in what she's saying and then respond? Another example, why do I have to fix things for her? Why can't I just hold it? Why do I not like asking for directions? Right? There's no answer to them, but the question is what's important, because then you can go on your own journey to understand and figure out why for yourself. And that's the whole idea around Man Enough, is if you identify as a man, one, you are a man, and two, you can create what it means to be a man for yourself. We have to shed ourselves of our like societal expectations of what a man should be, because it's those shoulds that lead us into anxiety and depression and loneliness and eventually suicide.
Definitely. I think a lot, I mean, you know, I know it's targeted for the men, but women, I think, go through very similar things as well. We're always thinking we have to be a certain way, acting in a certain fashion, and you're really showing about individuality.
Yeah, I can't write about the women though. You can do that, or my wife can do that.
Sorry.
But it's true. And women and men, we've all been socialized in very similar ways, and we have far more in common than we realize in terms of the pressures that are mounting on us. But this book for me is, it's solely my personal perspective of undefining and unpacking my masculinity.
What are you trying to teach your son right now, who is at a young age? How are you able, you know, to teach him?
I'm trying, right now he's 3, and he's, oh my God, I love him so much. He's so sensitive.
I'm popping through in the background outside with your wife. It was adorable.
Oh, he's so sensitive, and he's so sweet, and I'm trying to encourage that, because at some point when he leaves daddy and mommy and he goes out into the world, he's going to be picked on and demonized and teased for being sensitive. So I'm trying to build up as much strength and armor and protection as I can around his sensitivity, so that by the time that happens, he's been praised enough for being emotional and being kind and being sweet that it kind of bounces off him. And so, you know, so affirming his sensitivity, affirming like when he feels sad and I see him start to hold it back, I can say, no, 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 it's okay, my love. You can cry. It's okay. Like, what are you feeling? Asking him questions. Again, it all comes back as men and boys to asking ourselves questions, because we never do. Maybe because we don't like the answer or we're afraid of the answer, but we've never been taught to ask ourselves these questions, right? That's why we're afraid of therapy. That's why true intimacy can be hard for us. So, asking him how he's feeling, why he's mad, why he wants to hit Dada, right? Those types of things are so important for his personal development, and also really making him aware of his heart. That's the big thing. It's like, you know, as men, I think I personally have lived up here a lot and then down here a lot. And this area kind of like gets forgotten about. And I want to really focus my attention and our attention on his heart, you know? So like whether it's me coming up with a song about the heart, or, you know, every night before they go to bed, they say, you know, the heart is the strongest muscle in my body. You know, just so that he knows that, you know, even though his muscles are going to get strong one day, the strongest is the muscle he can't see. The strongest is the muscle that he can feel with. So those are just a couple of things that I'm talking to my boy about right now.
They're very wise words. He's very lucky to have all that advice right there in his home. People,
He is.
you know,
and he's so sweet. He loves. Oh my God, he loves helping people. Okay. So I'm doing this really cool thing. I think we're announcing it tomorrow with Philips. It's this really cool espresso machine, and I can't exactly say what we're doing yet, but it has to do with helping people. It's this cool, we're doing this endorsement, and it has to do with helping people. And I started talking about it around the house, my wife, and Maxwell got so excited. He's just like, oh, are we going to help people? We're going to help people, you know? And he's 3. And he's thinking, and him and Maya both are thinking about, like, we talk about what it means to have and the idea of what privilege looks like. And when we drive by a person on the street, how we always try to stop and make sure we have things in the car. And they're starting to understand these things. And Maxwell, you can just feel his heart just gravitate to like the idea of doing good and like making a difference. And these are the things, you know, you want to like water those things, because one day people are going to try to pick away those things or demonize those things. So
definitely, it's so true. Someone commented in the comments and they said that children follow their parents' examples, and you know,
true.
It's agreed. True. Very true.
They do. And that's why it's important. That's why it's not about like what we say, it's about what we do, you know, and that's the biggest thing.
I could not agree more. Well, you have definitely executed lots of incredible, like I said, projects and ideas throughout your career, and you have such an entrepreneurial spirit about you. For the millennials who are watching this today, what is your advice to them who are looking to be innovative and to really start something of their own, even though we are in the middle of this pandemic right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. Millennials. Well, technically I'm an elder millennial, which is kind of funny. I'm like an old millennial, I learned. I've noticed a big difference between like us old millennials and then the younger millennials. The first thing I'd say to millennials is it's great to have an entrepreneurial spirit, but you can never expect someone to give you something. I think it's really important for millennials to be willing to put in the work. And it doesn't always have to mean you are the shiny front and center spokesperson for your thing. It doesn't mean you need a big following. You don't have to have the glamour and like the accolades. There is a tremendous blessing in failing and in doing things that you know, in being number 2 or number 5 at an organization where you can truly learn for a while. I think that there's a generalization that millennials don't like to, don't like to put in the work. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that we live in such a rapid on-demand society, and we're so used to getting things instantly that sometimes younger people maybe don't know what it's like to truly wait, and to truly work for years at something. And I can tell you that for me, I became a 15-year overnight success, and people don't see what's underneath.
Right.
And it's like, oh, there's success. And what you don't always see is the years and years and years of work of like hustling, of suffering, of learning, of making stupid mistakes, of saying the wrong thing at the wrong time, of treating people the wrong way, of being too ambitious. All of these things are underneath the iceberg. And what I would tell millennials is to be patient, is to have your ambitions, have your drive, be patient. And the most important thing is to have a larger why than for yourself.
I could not agree more. The patience is the number one key that I see too, that, my group of colleagues and friends too, they also have that, issue, but the best ideas are the ones that you work for, and it's the journey. Once you get there, I feel like it's not as exciting, but when you know that you're working hard and you're seeing something start and, building from nothing, I feel like that's the most rewarding part ever.
Yeah. And be patient in that way, because you never know if what you're building now is actually going to be your thing. It very well may be your stepping stone to the thing. And I think that we also have to not be so attached to our things. Collaboration is really important. So, but I go back to think bigger, think bigger than you. How can you make a difference? How can you make a difference? And even in a small way, and it's always it's the smallest idea. If you look back at history, it's some of the smallest ideas that are the most profound and the most life-changing. So we don't have to think like we're training ourselves to think, especially with Instagram and social media followings and TikTok and all this, and the idea of being viral. We're training ourselves to think so big and so out there that we forget about the person-to-person human interaction and how valuable that is. That's how you change a life. And you change a life, you change the world. So go back to thinking small, think outside of yourself, be patient, hustle, but have humility about it. Because what you're working on right now might not be the thing you work on forever.
Such great words of advice. And especially right now, as people are in the middle of COVID and they're trying to figure out new ways of getting out, and obviously lots of layoffs, and just trying to, find something to at least work on. And like you said, you might not know what will happen, but it's worth trying to see, what will happen. So I agree with you. What do you do to relax? I feel like you are always working, always dating. You have your fun. What do you do to just chill out?
My wife just walked by and goes like this. Mm-hmm. What do I do, babe?
You geek out on technology stuff. That's like your meditation.
I geek out on technology. I'm a bit of a tech geek, and I'm like a biohack geek to a certain extent. What do I do to relax?
Kids.
Play with my kids a lot. Thank you. My kids really help me a lot. They help me be present. And it's funny too, because sometimes, and I'm just, and by the way, everything I just said about millennials, I say to myself. Is because I can also be so in the future that I forget to be in the present.
That's
I think
very
all of us have this, I think, especially with this on-demand now culture we have. So my kids, they'll come home and they'll like, Daddy, can you play? And my first response is like, I'm working. And I'm like, no. And then I have to catch myself and be like, yeah, I can play. Of course I can play. It's like that. It's like that saying, like if your 5-year-old hands you, a remote and tells you it's a phone and to pick it up, you better pick up the damn remote, right? Yeah. You answer that phone, hello, and that's the lesson. And then I like cold exposure has been great for me. Taking cold showers and jumping into a cold plunge has been really nice. So breath has been huge for me. But again, these are all little things. There's not one thing. It's how I feel in that moment.
I was just going to say that it's truly the little things, and they add up. And You know, those are the things I think right now everyone's most appreciative for. You know, the things that just make us feel good and focusing on self-care, mental health. It all comes together.
It all comes together, but nobody has the way. There's not one way.
No.
Nobody's got like the end all be all secret for this is how you relax. This is how you know, take 5 minutes. You know, just it's all individual, and we're all figuring this out together. Nobody understands true time management, I believe. Nobody, there's no such thing as true balance when you're a parent and an entrepreneur. We all are figuring out as we go, and it's important for us to have compassion for ourselves at the same time.
Could not agree more. Well, looking ahead, we know there's a launch tomorrow that everyone in your house is excited about. What else can we expect?
People are writing Emily in the background. That's yeah, look, this is real, y'all. We can't go anywhere. We can't go anywhere. Who's she doing?
That's what's so fun about these lives. You see the real, you know, action going.
No, this is it. She's back there playing with her dog. Can you? Let's see.
You see.
That's Happy.
Scenes of.
What's that?
It's the behind the scenes of the behind the scenes.
The behind the scenes of the behind the scenes. She's back there. She's back there somewhere.
You're home.
Yeah. So is my head cut off to you? Yeah, I can only see my hair, so I hope you guys can see me.
No, thank you.
Let's see. A few things. Yeah, we are. So the book is coming up. We're still doing work with Man Enough, which is my show around with masculinity. And you know, we have a film studio now, so we're financing and producing movies, which is really exciting. We have an incredible team. I'm gearing up for another movie to direct, which is going to be fun. And yeah, there's a lot. And then of course we have our fun Phillips espresso thing we're gonna do tomorrow, which is gonna be awesome. So
we'll have to eyes out for that. Everyone needs a little bit of a warm drink right now. I mean, where I am, you look like you have some more sun. I'm over in New York and it's freezing.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Oh, it's cold. Apparently
it's really warm. It's like 70. It's like 70 degrees out today. Yeah.
Nice. And we had some snow going on here. We're in very opposite climates, right?
Hence the turtleneck and why you look so cozy.
You're like, on this sweater. She must be sweating over there right now.
She likes to be warm. She's from Sweden, so she likes to bundle up whenever she can.
I get it. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. It was so great to have you here. You're such a pleasure, and just congratulations on literally everything you've been doing. It's so fun to watch, truly.
Oh, thank you so much. You're wonderful to talk to, and I hope we get to do it again.
Thank you. I would love that. Thanks so much. Take care.
You too. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.